change the name up there. Switch that around.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, it ain't just on these lives where she carries on with that. It's at work.
Ed,
Oh, whenever he
man,
pushes
Ed,
one of my
Ed, you
buttons, it's
disappoint
not.
me. You didn't come get any eggs.
I've been busy, man. I keep saying, telling my wife we need to get out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Lisa and I have a lot of coincidences. I say coincidences, but not really coincidences that happen with the both of us from time to time. We spent a few days, a few weekends talking.
I think the oddest thing was um, the afternoon that you were at my house, and my daughter was at your daughter's house, and then you left my house to go to your daughter's house, and you were talking about beekeeping or something, and then my granddaughter pops up and says, "My Grammy keeps bees."
Yeah.
I said, "What's your Grammy's name?" She says, "She's Lisa. Her name is Lisa Gowan." I said, "I know. I just came from having lunch with her." And I showed her a picture, and she's like, "Oh my
That's right.
gosh!"
It was when we all went to Blue Agave when Lee came
Yeah,
up and Bruce came over. Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh, the
didn't know
weekend was over
I didn't know
here.
that world was that little.
I mean, it's a small town around here, but my goodness.
Well,
And
I
coming
live
from
in
down,
Dothan, though.
I know, but it's a small area.
DC,
Definitely.
this is the place to test it, buddy. Because everybody is used to technical difficulties on this channel. So don't be scared.
Well,
Mhm.
did you watch my show last night? We were learning some new stuff about how to share video out.
Hey, I learned from that show. Jags, he was telling us how to do it, and I got on here and I shared this out to my channel tonight. So there. Ooh,
Yep.
Go, Lisa.
I'm learning this StreamYard stuff. So y'all better look out.
I
Women
just need
might
to,
take over the StreamYard stuff.
I just need to set up like Lee, though. That's what I need.
Oh,
That's what looks
my
like.
husband don't need to be nowhere near something like that.
There's too many
Well,
buttons.
Way too
well,
many.
well,
Too many buttons.
not to be politically correct right now, but sometimes it looks like I have autism. I'm looking up. Well, my laptop screen got broke, so I hooked it to my TV, which is mounted on the wall. So, I'm looking up
Oh,
at the screen. That's why I'm like this all the time because I'm looking up at the screen.
you're good, Ed.
I know. I used to when Alex came on a lot to the chats on Bob's and Charlie's. He was always looking at because he has his
Yeah.
screen up here, and I
Mhm.
guess if you have to sit in front of a computer all the time, it's easier if you kind of have them where it's comfortable for you. And I
Yeah.
have mine at work, and mine at work is up here like that. So
Hmm.
We ain't got to that level yet. Our TVs ain't smart enough for that. I don't think.
No, they can barely handle the rabbit ear antenna.
yeah, are you old enough to remember rabbit ears? You can't
I
be old enough to
am.
remember rabbit ears.
I am.
I think we still got
Okay, now
a
rabbit ears, but tin foil on the rabbit ears?
Yes, with
We
tinfoil
have
on rabbit ears.
many times we have done that just to watch Channel 5.
Well,
Well,
Hey,
not only that,
I
sometimes you
have
go
been the
to
antenna.
adjust them, and when you touch the antenna, if the station comes in, if you let go, the station goes away. So you sits there holding the antenna so you can watch the TV.
Shoot, I've been the remote for the TV when I was growing up.
Yeah,
Wow.
my dad never did buy remote control TV until I moved out. Hi, Philip.
See, I'm
Hello.
so proud of you.
Hey,
Hello, hello.
look at DC.
Oh,
I
DC's on here.
know. Came in with us.
All right, about
There he
time.
is.
Lieutenant Colonel, this is a monumental moment
It
to be in the world for all of us right here.
He has
is
been in a chat forever and
We're not
never
worthy.
been on
awesome.
screen.
You
We're
guys
not
hear me?
worthy.
Everybody in the chat is screaming DC.
We need an applause
Now,
button.
now.
I know. We don't have the sound effect.
Oh, hold on.
Well, DC, look at me. I got a face for radio, and I still go on the video streams.
Wow, there's a delay. That's cool.
You got a delay?
Well, I told Hannah and Tim before I got on here I was going to go fix my hair and put my face on, but I figured y'all see me like this all the time, so who cares, right? Y'all are family.
So, Philip, we got Lieutenant Colonel in here. Can you
Hey,
kind of
And
go through your hives for heroes out there with the Texicans?
sure. You know, mine
Go.
is not as exciting as Lisa's and Robert's yet. I'm sure it will be, but I got hooked up with my
oh, this is
mentee
weird.
right at the end of the season, and so she's helped me a couple times in the bees, but we're about to get started big time when the spring gets here. But
Mhm.
my experience was kind of weird with Hives for Heroes. I signed up as soon as I had the 2 years or whatever I was eligible, and it took a while. I don't know, 6 months or so before they paired me with somebody. But when they did, it turned out that person wasn't a veteran either. It was some kind of a mistake. And then uh, I met Rachel at the farmers market, and she was telling me she was in the Hives for Heroes program, and they were trying to pair her up with somebody from Denton. And I said, well, why would they do that when we live in the same community? So I contacted Charlie at Hives for Heroes, and he called me immediately. As soon as I sent him the email, he called me within a few minutes and said, look, I must have screwed up. He went back and reviewed all the emails and stuff. And he said, I'm sending out an email right now, and I'm going to pair you guys up. So that's how that worked out. So it all worked out.
Awesome. It just,
There's still bugs in the system. I mean, I was talking with somebody one day that knows Steve very, very well, and he's like, I don't think Steve was quite ready for this program to grow at the rate that it grew,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah.
fast. And that those are good problems to have when
Mhm.
you're working out bugs like that. It's hard when you've got people. It's like my husband had a friend at work who had signed up for the Hives for Heroes, and he had not been paired up with anybody. Well, we didn't have any mentors around here. And when I found out we didn't have any mentors around here, I was like, oh, heck no. I'll sign up as a mentor. And I got in touch with the guy, and the guy ghosted me. So I was like, okay, whatever. But, when you have an organization like that it's grown by leaps and bounds just in the 3 years that I've been acquainted with Steve. And since the first time I met him, rather, it's just, I don't think they were quite ready for it to just blow up like it did. And now they're going into other countries.
but DC yourself, just kind of, I guess the encouraging end for Lieutenant Colonel here, you being in the Army yourself, and I just believe, just being a personal opinion, but from what we see you in the chats and all that you would be an awesome mentor.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Have you considered getting in the Hive for Heroes?
I need to be able to keep bees alive first.
You're doing
Yeah,
good,
you're doing good this time.
Honestly, I have to keep bees alive first. I've got comments on everything, but that's because I've watched thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of videos. I've had bees myself, 3, 6, 9 months. So before I do anything beyond what I've got planned, I got to keep bees through the winter.
But you're doing so much better this year, DC. Like, didn't you beat your record? Wasn't that your day
Oh, yeah.
last week?
Yeah, about last week is when I lost them all.
I thought so.
My biggest contribution to my bees this winter. My typing's too loud. Okay.
What?
That's the worst part of it.
So my biggest contribution to my bees this winter has been keeping the rain off of them. Everything else I've been hit or miss, or had my problems. I had a lot of queen problems this last year, and we just kind of let them make queens through it and see what stuck, and then combined everything that we needed to, and we're just finding out now what makes it through winter and what we can work with it. But I've got all plans too, so.
Well, since we got a good crowd in here, and especially everybody coming on live stream, thank y'all very much for supporting us, man, and as well as helping Grammy out too with the support. If we can go through, and maybe, I guess Grammy, we can start with you and go from DC to Phil over to Ed there. But what is just a simple, basic, how can I put this? Some good advice to give him in his first year getting into beekeeping. Like, I got all y'all on that one.
I was.
Well, I'll say, find a good mentor. Lisa is very good, and she has some good mentors that she reaches out to when she has questions. So find a good mentor.
Oh, definitely. I actually found my mentor through YouTube. I would say 90% of my beekeeping I've learned through YouTube. I started, got my first hive during COVID, so the only way I could really learn was through YouTube.
Me too.
And I got my first nook through Kevin up at Hive 5 Bees up in, I think it's Chehalis. And that was the first year. And then I, through YouTube, I found Harris's channel, Sleepy Creek Apiary, Harris Joubert. Never figure out how to pronounce it right. But he's over by McMinnville. And then I got bees from him. And I kind of feel sorry for him. He's been spent hours and hours and hours on the phone running through plans and strategies and theories and that sort of thing. If there's been any single person that's contributed the most to my beekeeping in hours, it's probably him. And then actually a lot of you. Like I said, 90% of my beekeeping was learned from watching videos and kind of taking all of the videos from actually all around the world and just taking bits and pieces and what seemed to fit and what seemed to work and what seemed similar to my climate and my area and applicable.
Yeah. I would agree with what DC said about. I started beekeeping on July 10th, 2020. It was my COVID hobby as well, and yeah, I'm second to DC on being obsessed with watching YouTube videos about all things beekeeping. I know I'm not quite as bad as DC, but they'd put us in. They would put us in the same padded cell. That's for sure. But yeah, and that's kind of how I got started, and I'm still not a member of my local bee club. Shame on me. I really should be. I had a lady come up to me at the farmer's market and just grill me about how long I've been keeping bees and how many colonies I had, and was I a member of any? Because she thought I was a fraud. She thought I just walked and bought honey and set up and started selling it.
Oh my gosh.
She was just really just matter of fact. Now, who are you again? Where do you live? How long you been keeping bees? How do you treat your bees? She was just going question after question. And I answered all of them, and I think she was satisfied. But
Wow.
I was just kind of new on the scene, so
I didn't know you had to have a resume to sell honey.
That's true. Would you like my date of birth and social security number?
after she left, I this is the way I am. I'm quick-witted, about 10 minutes late, but
You sound like me, Phil.
yeah, after she left, I was like, man, why didn't I say, no, I'm not a member of any of the bee clubs, but I can come speak to your group if you want me to. But that was, but yeah, advice. I think the thing that's helped me the most is being obsessed. But the problem I had early on when I started watching YouTube was everything somebody else had, any kind of problem. That's what my bees had. Hive beetles. Oh no, and I went and ordered all those beetle traps. Even though I only had a few hive beetles, I never even needed them. Matter of fact, if you guys want some, I'll mail you some. I've got like 100 of them. But I did just send them out to all you people. Those little black ones that snap shut, those little clamshell things. Yeah, I got a bunch of those that I put them on at first, and I saw that they didn't catch any beetles, and the bees propolized them shut. So, but and mites. Other people having mites kind of saved me though, because I was like every new beekeeper. My bees don't have mites. I've never seen a mite. They're fine. They're fine. And then when I finally got around to treating them and checking them, one of the colonies was loaded with mites. So,
yeah.
And I recognized that in the fall of that first year, 2010, and I've been treating ever since with oxalic acid. But yeah, I read, and I've heard a lot of people say this. The first book I read, probably 4 or 5 years before I got bees, was Beekeeping for Dummies. That's a really good resource and a really good book.
It really is.
Yeah, I knew I wanted bees for a long time. I would like to share kind of a funny story about how I got into beekeeping. I'd wanted bees, but I just kept figuring out, and that was the wrong time of year. And then when the spring had come, people, you get busy in the spring. And I guess when you get into bees, you realize all the stuff you're missing out on in the spring. There's a lot of like scout training I have to do in April. And then my friends go on a canoe trip in April. And I told them this year, I said, I can't go. That's the middle of swarm season. I can't go this year. But I got an email forwarded to me from a guy because he knew I was interested in bees. And this guy lives in my own town. And he said he was looking for a place to keep bees. Well, I had the farm down in Richland and I was interested in bees. So I sent him an email and said, hey, I've got this farm. You can put your bees down there and I'll, kind of help you watch them because I'm interested in bees as well. And it's a pretty good drive, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he did want something within an hour of Capel. Well, he didn't respond. He didn't respond to me. So I kind of took that personal. And I was like, kind of made me mad that he didn't reply to my email. So I decided, you know what? I'm getting into beekeeping. I don't need him. And I started building me some beehives. And that's how I got started.
And here you are today.
That was my Michael Jordan getting cut from the 8th grade basketball team moment. I needed that to get me
Well,
fired.
Ed, I'm sorry, Philip, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
How about you, Ed? What is something we can share with Lieutenant Colonel here to encourage him in his beekeeping venture?
I have to go back to his thing about the mentor because um, you can have one good one, but to get a couple in your pocket, so you have more than one person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing that beekeeping is very regional and sometimes sub-regional within that region, things could be different.
For
There's
sure.
there's things I've been doing I could do down here in Dothan that maybe Lisa wouldn't try because there's a difference in our two areas, even though we're right next to each other. Um, you know, bees don't read books, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so you
true.
know, you can get an idea from a book. You can get an idea from a couple other people and evaluate it and see what you think is best. You
Where in
know,
Dothan are you, Ed?
I live in the city of Grimes.
Okay, I'm over
Right.
by the Botanical Gardens
Okay,
off Headland Avenue.
you're not too far from me then.
Well, there you go. Maybe y'all can kind of combine one day, get with Grammy and all of you get together and have some good fellowship out there in that bee yard.
Hmm.
Well, I
Uh,
do that on a few of Granny's Lisa's videos already. When
mm,
Lee came, I'm the wisecrack on the video.
now, Lieutenant Colonel, this next gentleman I'm gonna introduce here does some fine beehives and the horizontal work. He does,
He will make you drool looking at the hives he built.
He
yes,
built the one you were going out to look at and got chased by the guard bee the other day.
Oh, so it's his fault I got stung, not yours, Mr.
uh-huh.
A.
The
There were
building,
no bees in that hive that day.
But
That is a
Ricky,
good looking hive.
Thank you.
Very good looking hive.
Ricky,
Did
what's a
the
good experience you've had that you can bless the Lieutenant Colonel with?
Well, I believe just keeping the bees themselves. I mean, and then being around other beekeepers that will uplift you, kind of what you're on here tonight, and lifting you up and giving you good advice. You that's worth so much to me. When I first started out, being around other beekeepers saying, "Yeah, you can do this," or give you a hand when you think that hive's a swarming and there's bees going everywhere. Is what I do, and they say, "Well, that's just a hatch coming off," So that advice is very important, and just remember that all of us beekeepers have lots of opinions of what's best for the bees. So
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
yeah, and you've got a very good, talented lady there, Lisa, that knows her beekeeping, and you're blessed to have her. They probably already told you that. Been around Lisa for quite a bit, so that's why I jumped on here was for Lisa, and then DC over here. DC, there we go. DC over here for him to be on, who comments so much on everybody's channels, and so
everybody.
I had
He's
to
on
jump on
every
here.
stream, everywhere.
Yeah, every
But he's
stream.
always
and he
so
always leaves
encouraging.
nice comments.
Yeah. But he's the
Yeah.
kind of person that's always
And funny
uplifting
comments
everybody
too.
else.
No
He uplifts
lies,
everybody
he's
else.
your poster child.
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
is. So
Now,
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
my
There's no way around it.
I've, I've even been tinkering around. We like to follow Lieutenant Colonel that just kind of like everybody is saying, you'll figure out who's going to lead you in the right direction. And like they're saying, you'll have so many different opinions on things, but once you start diving in a little bit deeper and learning how the colonies work and how and why they're building that comb, you know, why is she building so many worker cells versus drone cells and them beginning the wax process and all that kind of stuff. From time to time, I'll watch folks from across the pond, from South Africa over to England. There's some dude over in Ireland. Love the way these folks talk. And I'll just go in them comments and be like, I wonder, and this ain't no joke. Wonder if DC's been in here. And
there-
buddy, DC's been to South Africa, Scotland, everywhere over there.
He's been to Australia too.
Yes, sir. But get your face up the
He's gonna
screen.
make y'all say hey to him.
Hey, Jasper wants his 15 minutes of fame.
He's
Yeah.
got to get his screen time in, even if he has to squish me in the process.
If he had phones, you'd be taking away a cell phone from him.
Oh my god, this dog is something.
Oh man.
You know,
Go
it's
ahead, Bill.
what's funny is, I guess I jumped on a stream a couple nights ago, and you had mentioned something about a video you guys had made just for me, and then I went looking for it like the next morning. I guess it was yesterday, about noon, and all I found was the video of Jasper as a puppy. And I was excited about that, but I was like, dang, I was kind of hoping it was a biscuit video.
Oh, it was a biscuit video.
I know.
I saw that biscuit video today.
I
saw-
was like, I would
saw it.
not have been by myself on that camera.
I saw the comment and the thing. I'm like, I'll be damn, it was a biscuit video. And I hadn't looked at it. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was busy all day today with the color guard, the Capel. Like, I don't know, probably at least 30 different teams competing.
Wow. Isn't that where you were last night?
Yeah, it was a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I got my Capel color guard sweatshirt on.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yeah, I'll be out your way this weekend and part of next week, Phil.
well, I don't want to keep you from your dad, of course, but
Yeah,
I'd sure
I'll
like
see if
to
I can find some time.
Yeah.
I'll try if I can find some time.
I've got it. I'm going to be. I think I'll be cutting out a colony out from under that trailer on Saturday, probably, but Saturday or Sunday.
I'll probably be getting in Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm leaving Friday afternoon. And is that Ruth?
Channel. That's Ruth.
That's correct.
Hey, Ruth.
You gonna say hey to everybody? You just gonna wave at them?
That's hi.
That's hi.
But yeah, that's
Hey,
hi.
come in,
Hold on. See. Yeah.
Hola, Ruth.
It's Lisa there.
I know that's Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you, Miss Ruth?
Hi.
Lieutenant Colonel, this is the woman that does all that fine painting on them boxes.
Mhm.
You saw
So she painted
my
your box,
logo
at
on
least.
the horizontal hive? Yes. She's the
Yeah.
one that painted it.
She's
Yeah,
the
I
one that
was
makes
looking-
me look so good.
I was looking at some of the highs on your website while we were talking. So some good looking hives.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Ruth. Take care.
Hey, Ricky, show them that one above your head right there.
Oh,
Let me make you big.
Did it die out,
Yeah,
Ricky?
make
I
it
didn't see any
big, make
bees
it
on it.
you know, it actually, for some reason last night, there's still bees on it. And Frederick Dunn told me he thought that there was still a queen in there. I'm not sure. But last night about, I guess, 12 o'clock at midnight, all of a sudden it's 19 degrees outside and that hive went crazy. And there were bees all in that chamber moving around. I'm like, I'm on the phone with Lee talking to him. I'm like, something's going on in this hive. This doesn't make no sense. It's cold outside. They shouldn't be doing that. The room temperature is the same, but they were all over the chamber for some reason.
That's cool.
Hmm.
So, maybe they'll make it.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Have y'all thawed out from the snow?
Yeah, finally today we got a little bit of warmth, so it's been kind of nice.
Lord willing, we ain't too far behind, and like we was talking earlier, where we at? We're getting into mid-February now. So, Lieutenant Colonel, Lord willing, in the next month or so, hopefully you'll be able to start getting into them swarms. And the big deal is if Grammy can get you into one while it's going on, and y'all can catch it before it gets 40 feet up. But
Well, the closest you can get to a swarm without being a swarm is when Bruce spins his honey out and they set that trailer out there. All those bees go out feeding out there.
Mhm.
I stood out in the middle of that. He's got a video of that, right? You know, with me standing out with my arms out like this in the middle of all the bees.
And I met Bruce in Ozark at one of the meetings there at the Farmer's Daughter.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
don't y'all have doesn't the House for Heroes meet up? What, maybe once a month or quarterly or something, Grammy?
Yes, we have a monthly meeting the second Tuesday of every month
Okay.
on Zoom, and it's the nationwide meetup.
Okay.
And now that coincides with our meeting here in Ozark, and I wasn't able to make. I dialed in, but I didn't get to be in it very much because we had a really good meeting here in Ozark. So it's probably going to come down to me doing one or the other, like every other month. So.
And that's also the same time as Tuesday Night Live, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So it's a very busy Tuesday night for me.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Lord willing, she can get you in the swarm season, like we're saying, and start showing you on doing some of them splits and kind of let you get that experience going in the spring of, doing a couple, whether you do 2 or 3 frame splits and learning that process of, okay, Lord willing, that queen to get out there, she'll come back, have a good flight, come on back home, then get into your boxes, a week or 2 later. And whenever you pull that frame out and you start seeing those first little runs of eggs in there, and Lord willing, Lieutenant, you'll be able to get that excitement of like, okay, now we on to something. Let's
Yeah, that was
let's
one of the things we discussed last time I was over there, was talking about how can you tell when a hive is fixing to swarm, and then trying to deter them from swarming by splitting them. So we talked about some of that. So that, like I said, I've learned a lot since I've been going over and getting in the hives and just sitting there and talking to her and picking her brain. So it's been great.
yes. We'll kind of go back onto a piece of advice we could give is, which I'm bad about this, and there's probably others too as well, that you get into something, then you kind of jump ahead thinking, okay, I got this and I see what's going on. I know what's happening. But in reality, no, I need to step back and go back to my basics, then progress into further. If there's any kind of piece of advice that we could give you, that would be it. And oftentimes, like we were taught in fire and EMS, even though you got that advanced level, a good majority of the time, you need to refer back to your basics. The advanced part is a good thing to have, but yet start from the bottom and work yourself up to the point of, okay, now I see what's going on. Now I understand why we'll stay into these queen cells and swarming. We're going into spring and we know by nature the bees, that's going to be their tendency to swarm. So do I recognize this as my bees are fixing to swarm, or do you have the confusion of, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with my queen and I need to do something? Whenever in reality, there's nothing wrong with the queen. It's just nature being nature. But let me remedy this so that I can carry on and be productive and not sitting back and stressing of, oh man, I jumped the gun. I shouldn't have done it this way.
Well, I think one of the pieces of advice that I would have for a new beekeeper is learn the bee biology, learn the life cycle, and don't look at your hive as frames. Look at your hive as you would see it in the wild. Because if you see it in the wild, it's not in a box. It's in the shape of an upside down cone. And when you have that upside down cone, it builds an upside down rainbow. And you have the rainbow of brood, you have the rainbow of pollen, the rainbow of nectar, and the rainbow of honey. And that's the way that bees build in nature. So that's the way they're going to build out in the hive. So knowing that when you have a cluster that's sitting on 8 frames of foundation, you know that, and you've only got one box, that hive is probably about to swarm. Because if they're filling up 8 frames and you only got one 10-frame box, that hive is getting ready to out, especially if there's 2 or 3 frames of brood in there. They're fixing to run out of room. So I think you just need to look beyond the frames and foundations and look at the hive as a whole and what they're doing in the geometry that they're building within that box. And of course, knowing the life cycle. If you know the life cycle of the bees, the different bees, the worker, the drone, and the queen, you can plan that out. Your plan's not always going to work out, but at least you have a timeline.
Last year I sort of panicked as my first season with any kind of doing any kind of splits. I saw a hive and had 12 queen cells in it and panicked. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've never done this before. I did make one mistake out of it though. I didn't take the queen and and some bees out from it. I left the queen there and took the cells. So don't panic. Just take a breath and stand real and look at what you're like. She said, look at what you're doing because 12 queen cells is not not something I know you normally see, but
That's not
that hive wanted to go do something.
You can increase your numbers there, Ed, for sure.
He did. You went from 2 to 12, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to 12. I had 2 abscons, went back to 10, and now I'm back to 12 because I did splits already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'd like to, I was watching the video, right, and I had to get out of it to come on, not to come on the stream, but just when this one started, but it came up on my feed, and some of you guys may have seen it, but it's by the New York Bee Wellness people, and it's called The Making of a Queen by Kate Anton from Penn State. I was only into it about maybe halfway, but man, she goes into unbelievable detail on not just the making of the queen, but how the bees make the royal jelly and all that. She even has diagrams and showing the hypopharyngeal gland inside their head and all that. I was pretty excited to watch it, even though I know basically what happens. She went into detail that I'd never even thought of. So
what's her name, Philip?
It's called the channel is called New York Bee Wellness. They do these seminars. It's like a slideshow, but she has real good pictures and diagrams. And Kate Anton, Anton, is giving the presentation.
This is on YouTube.
It was The Making of a Queen.
The Making of a Queen. Kate Anton, Penn State. A New York Bee Wellness webinar. It looked like it was released 2 days ago.
Huh. Okay. Thank you. I'll look for that.
I think I'm going to send that to my newbie. Tell her to watch it.
Let's see if I can try to find it on here. Put the link in the chat. The Making of a Queen.
Yep.
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
Bingo. Let Miss Hannah put that in the chat. Anybody's interested. And if it's something, Lieutenant Colonel, you interested in too, kind of help you out a little bit, we'd definitely go check it out. We was talking with Mr. Larry Gandy earlier this week and going through with him some of the things he was telling us. I was just like, I had no idea, Mr. Larry. You know, just like the queen filling out measuring that cell, whether she wants to lay a fertilized egg or an unfertilized egg, as far as being the workers and drones. And some of the things he was putting together, I was like, I've never thought about, even thinking about looking anything like that up. It's just been, well, we'll go out here, do our splits, keep the beetles off of them, and as long as they trucking along good, then we in good shape. But at the same time, it's good to have that information to know what's going on in the hive. Uh-oh, lost Ricky.
Yeah, right.
But
So, you know what?
Well,
Hey, Tim, on that video I was talking to you guys about, she has a diagram of the spermatheca, and then she has a microscopic picture of the spermatheca, and it is like a little marble. It's a perfect cylinder. And she said, and the one she had was it was filled with sperm, so it had like a milky look to it. But she said before it's fertilized, it's a perfectly clear crystal. It's totally empty. And I mean, it is a perfect. It looks like a marble sitting on just a little hump thing there. I was watching that going, that is crazy.
Check that out.
It went into detail, great detail.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
the
went and
biology.
pulled off the YouTube video. So I've got it saved.
I'm sorry, you was cutting out. Go ahead.
I said I went out to YouTube and pulled the video, so I got it saved now. So
Okay, there we go. Well, y'all, we're running into the 2 hour mark, but before we go, DC.
Thank you for coming on tonight.
Sir.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, bud.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
It's all Lee's fault.
Yeah.
For 2 years, I used the excuse that I didn't want to spend the money on a camera.
You're not that expensive.
I was not lying. I did not own a camera, and I did not want to spend the money it took to get a decent one. And then Lee came along.
No excuses, bud.
My Sunday. No, actually, Lee is cool people. There's no way around it. Lee's a good guy. I just wish he'd make more videos.
Yeah, Lee is good for more than just to look at. That's for sure.
He needs to make videos. He needs to get back in them bees. He's working too hard.
Oh, look, DC. Ricky said he has a spot on Thursday night.
He said,
That's too much sensory input for 1 week.
I just saw where, speaking of people who hadn't made videos in a while, I just saw where Houston Sheldon put out a video today. So I got to go watch that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good to see old Houston back at it.
Oh.
We actually had Earl on last night.
Yeah, that was cool.
I hadn't seen him in a while.
I was watching that from the color guard duties. His microphone kept messing up, but maybe get that worked out.
Nothing else. We'll get a mic up there. I got a pair of Earl. If you're still listening, we bought some and we don't even use the things. And I'll mail them puppies up there to you, Bubba. It's what do you call them? You put it lapel mics, I guess is what you call them. But I tried it. Yes, man.
Yeah,
I
he was
just couldn't get it
overpowering.
working.
Right? He does get excited sometimes too. So that's actually the calmest I've seen him.
Hey, that's
Love
fine.
to death.
We need that excitement.
Oh yeah.
What, Brian?
He said DC's bald head glare fits in perfectly with all the others.
Yeah. That's why I tried to cut the overhead light down. It was too shiny.
Follically challenged.
Follically challenged, yeah.
My uncle always said God only made a few perfect heads and the rest he covered with hair.
Well, it's funny y'all say that because whenever we were in the backstage, Lieutenant Colonel there, we kind of went through that a little bit and said, well, don't worry, Bubba. There's plenty that's going to come on here and, they're going to have those shine too. So
I told him I was going to go get the visor that has the fuzzy hair in it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But well, y'all, we had our two up. Go ahead, Philip.
I'm sorry. Did I see somebody comment they were going to be on Mrs. T's show tomorrow? Did I see something about Lisa?
Yes, I'm going to be on with T's in the morning. I don't know what all of a sudden popularity is wanting me to be on these.
You're a superstar.
I had 3 invitations like within just a couple of days. I'm going to be on Miss T with the T tomorrow morning at 8:15. So yeah, I need to get my beauty sleep. And then I will be on Sarah's live in March.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. I think us girls are planning a little something.
Ah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's a takeover. It's a world takeover.
It's a takeover.
Well, some of us beekeepers have been doing lives, and I was following Jake's for a while, and I've been going into the homesteader type places where he goes, and people who do gardening, and I bring up bees, so they start getting questioning about bees. So yeah, we're sort of crossing over a little bit, talking about bees, asking questions.
Yeah. What's funny is a lot of the people in the group in Ms. T's community came off from Lead Farmer 73. And Lead Farmer 73 is somebody, I've been watching him in Homestead Heart for years. And as a matter of fact, I blame him for getting me into homesteading and bees and chickens and
yeah.
But he's a real fun. He's a real fun one to watch too on YouTube. The whole homesteading community is just great.
Well, it's exciting me that both of them are dealing with each other, like this, and it's good, I'm enjoying it.
The first time I ever saw Dr. Leo was on a homesteading channel. I'm about as impressed with him now as I was then.
I really enjoyed watching. I only caught it on replay. I didn't see it live, but when Sarah, who else was on that one? Ed, you were on it, weren't you? Sarah,
yeah, I was.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Mrs.
I can't wait to.
And I can't. What was his name? You guys were on it too, Tim and Hannah. Yeah.
Miss
and
T.
who was the other man on there?
Jags.
Jags, yeah.
Jags, yeah. But I really liked that one because there was a lot of people asking very basic questions, and I think sometimes it helps ground us a little bit. Because we start talking in terms that only we understand, and they'll stop you and go, hold on, what is a swarm cell? Something that
Right.
basic and simple to us. So I really enjoyed watching that, just seeing you guys break that down and
Hmm.
uh, answer those basic
He
questions.
does.
That was entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's just bringing all these
Uh-oh, we
communities
lost
together.
DC.
Yeah, he put a comment in. He was going to back out and hang in the chat. I
Well,
don't blame him. I'm just
I'm
so
glad.
glad to
Oh,
see
there's
him
Jegs right
here.
there. There's
Jigs is
Jegs.
in there, yeah.
Hey, Jegs.
Yeah. Well, everybody coming together and in the homestead and beekeeping world, and like Jay's talking about, many folks is into gardening and things of that nature. So you got to have many of your plants that you garden have to be
Hmm.
pollinated. And besides your native pollinators, our honeybees is one of the best things to take and help pollinate, be able
Oh
to have
yeah.
a good, healthy crop. And I just like that union we're bringing together of everybody, and
Mm.
we can build off it. They can learn from us, and I'm most definitely learning from them on some of the tricks that they're using in the homesteading portion.
Hmm.
But
There's a homesteading conference that Black Tropical Homestead has been doing every year in Savannah, and I've not been able to go to it, and I really want to go. And they've every so often there will be a camp out in South Carolina that Lead Farmer 73 like sponsors. But it's just a bunch of homesteaders getting together and practicing preps and practicing, doing stuff in an emergency situation, how you would handle situations. But it all kind of goes together because really and truly what we call prepping, that was homesteading 50,
Right.
75 years ago. That's just the way you lived. You canned, you preserved, and you gardened. And it's just not the way of life anymore. But I'm so glad that I've gotten into it. So, Soil Family Meetup, that's it. April 5th, 6th, and 7th. Thank you, Jay. I really would like to go to that. It's in Savannah. I think they do get like one of the big conference centers over there and have a big expo. It's but I'd really like to go to that this year if I could.
well, there you go. Anybody out that way? Say in Savannah, Georgia,
Yes.
y'all.
I believe that's where it's been. I know that's where it's been. I believe that's where it'll be. I think that's where they did. But I know Terry with Guardian Bee Apparel, he is friends with the couple. I can't remember their names. They're Black's Tropical Homestead, but they're Terry and also I think the Pruitt's Homestead might go to that. I'm not sure. I know Andell's Farmstead does or Homestead, but it does. There's a lot of crossover of the different communities, and it's really good. I mean, there's good information coming from all of it, and that's how I started beekeeping, is getting into homesteading. So,
Yeah. Well,
well,
yeah.
John, I'm
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
bag out.
Yeah.
Haha. See what I did there?
I think I'm gonna go watch a biscuit video.
There you go.
I watched a biscuit video.
She could have called you.
I'm
Had
gonna
you
have
call
my
cops or
Nutella
something,
and Manila wafers.
And you know what I mean?
We gonna
Y'all have a
Cover
good
my
night and
ass.
God bless. Okay.
You
All right.
too, Lisa.
Good night.
Good night, Lisa.
Good night.
Lieutenant Colonel, we thank you again, brother, for your service and coming in and sitting with us and giving us your story and everything this evening. It's been a
Thank you.
blessing.
It was really nice to meet
Yes, it
you.
was.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep.
I hope you come back sometime.
Yes, sir. Anytime you're welcome.
Yep. I hope to
Thank
see
you
you
very
more
much.
I hope to see you more of Lisa's videos too. I enjoy those videos you guys make.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And
But
I just looked, Dad. You're 3.25 miles from me by the way the bird flies.
That's why the
That's
bee
awesome.
way the bee flies around here.
Well,
That's
you probably end up having some of your bees probably end up getting mated off of my drones and
Mhm.
well, maybe y'all can meet up and get together, being right down the road. It's always a blessing talking with Ed on the phone too. So I know it'll be a blessing being able to sit down in person talking with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
all you gotta do, Robert, is to Google 263 bees.
Well,
My address and my
that's how I
phone
got
number
the
is in there.
address to search you.
Oh,
He's
okay.
so good at it.
So you got my phone number in there too. So if you want to call, you can call.
Okay.
He's a military man, Ed. He's got connections on. I'll find you.
Yeah. He called in the he called in the CIC on me, all right?
Yeah.
Yes. But all right, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you,
right.
Steve Amos, for
Thank you.
yeah.
Gifting all the membership.
Yes, sir. Thank you to all our members as well.
Appreciate that.
But God bless you, Lord willing. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah.
Y'all
Y'all have a
take
good
care.
week.
Good night,
Night,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.